Welcome. Welcome. It is Tuesday, August the 26th, 2025. And we have finally made it to California. In California, man, it is hot. Hotter than I expected, at least when you're not on the coast up here in Northern California. But, so I guess I need to get down to the Bay Area sooner than later to cool off a bit. Now for today, what do you do when you can't build any more lanes very easily, but you still have major traffic problems in your city? Well, a couple of cities here in North America have decided that tunneling might be the answer. That's right, they want to tunnel under the city. We're going to take a look at that. Then we've got a totally new freeway popping up down there in the desert of Arizona. So I'm going to show you guys what's going on down there in the Phoenix metro area. And then, left lane hogs. Your day is coming if you are in Louisiana. I'll show you the new law that Louisiana has targeting left lane hogs on the highway. But that's enough with the intro. Let's get straight into the news story. And the first one is going to be right up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Now, a few months ago, I did a more comprehensive video on Ontario 401, the path through Toronto, which is the busiest highway in North America. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check out that video. I'll have it down in the description. And at the end of that video, one of the things I recommended was that the 401, which is the through route through Toronto, be tolled, and the 407, which is the bypass, be free. That way you encourage more drivers to go around Toronto rather than driving through Toronto. Now that's the logical move, but of course I understand that that might not always be politically feasible because a lot of residents get upset if you even propose the preposterous idea of tolling a road that they've already gotten used to being free. So even though logically that makes sense, I understand that politicians might be out of a job if they're the ones to go back and retroactively toll a road. So in Toronto, what you have is a situation where the through route is free, which is the more direct route, and the bypass is tolled, similar to what we have down here in the States in Austin. So let's see what Mr. Doug Ford has planned for the Toronto area. And for those of you who are familiar with Canada, Doug Ford is the premier of Ontario, which is similar to the governor here in the United States of a state. So this is everyone in Ontario's favorite politician, Mr. Doug Ford. Let's take a look at the story.
Just because it hasn't been done, it doesn't mean we can't do it.
Premier Doug Ford revealed new details on his plans for a tunnel under Canada's busiest highway, while at a separate announcement.
We're going to have a tunnel. It's going to be 19 and a half meters wide. Never been done in the world. We're going to have one level going east, underneath that, another level going west, and the bottom level with a train.
Earlier this week, we reported on Freedom of Information documents that revealed the Ford government looked into a tunnel as far back as 2019, shelving the idea in 2021 on government direction. Ford's latest comments on the plan come the same day Global News reported on internal documents it obtained, also mentioning that earlier study. The analysis finding a potential for roadway collapse and risks to public safety.
If they can tunnel under the English Channel, if they can tunnel through mountains and every other place, we sure the heck can tunnel along the 401. We'll do it safely and we'll do it properly, and we're going to do the largest tunnel in the world.
Taking into account Highway 401 above, it would mean 4 separate levels, multiple lanes with one direction of traffic directly underneath the highway. Then below that, vehicles going the opposite direction, plus a lower level for transit.
Yes, it is technically doable. It would take a very long time, cost a lot of money, and it won't make congestion better.
She expects congestion would actually worsen, attributing that to evidence here and elsewhere, showing adding more lanes brings more traffic. The Green Party leader called on the premier to release that earlier study.
Well, I think it's just ridiculous that the premier wants to continue to waste time and money on this fantasy 401 tunnel when we clearly already have government studies showing that it's not feasible.
Later in the day.
So you guys are seeing the information on it. This is unprecedented. This is, like he said, this does not exist. This whole thought of putting another a tunnel for more lanes, more traffic up underneath already the busiest highway in perhaps in the world is insanity. I'd be surprised if this ever gets built in Ontario because of the cost. Before you even get into the debate over whether it's going to help congestion or it's going to make congestion worse or whatever, it's the cost. The reason why there aren't more underground highways or underground transportation in general, including subways, is the cost. It is very expensive to dig underground. It is very expensive to build this safely. So one thing I would love to see is the study on how much it will cost to build this tunnel under the 401. And yeah, I think at the point where the 401 is, there really is nothing you can do that's going to make this road less congested at this point. I think it's already as wide or beyond as wide as it should be. And people who live in Toronto, I think you just have to accept and get used to the fact that this road is going to stay congested. And if you don't like driving on it, then maybe you have to figure out a way to relocate. But I don't think this is an ideal or a good solution, because I'm with the engineers they had in the video. I think the 401 is beyond maxed out as far as capacity goes, and adding more capacity to it won't really change anything. I think Toronto is one of those cities similar to New York in that, because in each metro area there's a certain amount of demand for traffic capacity, for roadways. And Toronto is similar to New York in the sense that the demand for more roadway capacity is so great that any amount of new roadway or roadway capacity that you add to this Toronto area is probably going to fill up pretty quickly. So I think at this point, the 401, it is what it is. You know, you just have to accept that if you live in the Toronto area. I don't think adding this capacity, and even if it did, let's say hypothetically it did reduce the traffic somewhat on the 401, I think the cost of building this tunnel that we've never seen before, you know, it's going to run over budget because it's never been done before. I think the cost won't justify any reduction in capacity, any reduction in congestion that you do get. I don't think it's going to be justified, but let's see. Let's continue on.
Premier was asked again why he's pushing forward given that earlier study.
Well, we're going to do a proper study from end to end. We're going to get the proper equipment going down and find out there's a solution.
We're also hearing from the other opposition parties on this. Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie asking why the government is spending time and money on a new study when it appears it's already decided on a design plan. She asks for transparency on what could be a project costing $100 billion. The NDP refers to this as a flashy, uncosted mega project that it says won't fix congestion. Lorenda Redick.
Yeah, so $100 billion. Yeah, guys, the cost versus benefit doesn't add up. Let's say hypothetically, if you built this tunnel, that you would cut the congestion on 401 in half. That's still not worth $100 billion. There's so much more you can build with $100 billion. Even if that's $100 billion Canadian dollars, it's just not justified. But hey, Doug Ford seems like he's pushing forward with it. So you guys in Ontario, let me know what you think. Do you think this tunnel is a good idea? I think for the cost, it's just not worth it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right, now, Toronto isn't the only city trying to tunnel their way out of traffic. Check out what's going on in Nashville, which is a place we're going to talk about on a future video here in the coming weeks.
Tonight, billionaire Elon Musk wants to bring a high-speed tunnel like this one in Las Vegas they want to bring it here to Nashville. It would connect BNA to downtown, but not everybody is on board. Fox 17 News' Chris Knowles joining us live downtown after state leaders just unveiled the details. Chris?
Yeah, Megan, Governor Bill Lee announced that Elon Musk company Boring is coming to bring its new underground tech here to Nashville. And it's designed to get folks from BNA Airport to downtown in less than 10 minutes. And it's called the Music City Loop. Music City could soon see a whole new way to travel.
Man, it sounds really cool. I've always thought we should have more transportation options.
A high-speed transit loop could be coming to Nashville as early as 2026. The system would run about 10 miles through underground tunnels. A trip from downtown to the airport in just 8 minutes. Supporters say it will cut down on traffic, protect roads, and create jobs.
This project will be a great one, and it'll move safely through underground and then move people safely through those tunnels.
As it is set up right now, taxpayers wouldn't pay a dime.
So this project is 100% privately funded, and the Boring Company will incur those costs.
Officials point to the...
Ooh, okay. Well, that's complete opposite of what we just heard in Toronto. That right there is the key why this one might actually go down. Privately funded, no taxpayer dollars. Well, hey, Elon Musk is putting his money where his mouth is. He's going to pay for this tunnel. So that's already a huge plus with this project.
Company's Las Vegas Loop, which has a 99.57% safety rating from DHS and TSA.
But we are going to go through all of our process to make sure this project is safe, to look at all the equities.
But one noticeable absence, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell, who wasn't at the announcement.
I won't speak for the mayor, but our conversations have been very productive.
We asked Mayor O'Connell later at an education event for comment about the project, but he declined. Republican leaders praised the plan, calling it bold, innovative, and tremendous. But Democrats slam it, saying it's fiscally irresponsible. State Senator Heidi Campbell calling it, quote, a vanity tunnel for Elon Musk. At the airport, travelers we spoke.
Okay, so fiscally irresponsible. How is it fiscally irresponsible if the private company is paying for it? If they want to pay for it, if they're going to take the risk, then I don't see how you can claim fiscal irresponsibility. But maybe I'm missing something. Let's see if there's anything else.
Are on board.
That's great news. I mean, I work downtown in Nashville, so to get to the airport that quickly will be fantastic for us.
You can avoid all the traffic going in there. So definitely save a lot of time.
Right now, a public review process is underway. If approved, construction could start soon, with the first leg open by fall 2026.
2026.
Governor Lee says the groundbreaking for the project could happen in the next couple of weeks, if not sooner. We'll keep you updated with this progress.
Okay, so, wow. Well, this is the complete opposite. Privately funded. No taxpayer money. Can ground break in a few weeks and be partially open a year from now. I see no issue with this. Now, one thing I will say is from looking at this, which I might do some more research into these loops as well as that one that he did in Vegas. But the way it looks, it doesn't look like it's something that's going to significantly impact traffic. Because you see one car moving, there's just not enough volume in there to really impact traffic, in my opinion. But unless I'm missing something, it doesn't look like it can carry a high capacity of commuters. Then I'm also going to assume that the cost is probably going to be a bit higher than public transit. So you won't necessarily get a lot of people off the road with this, but what it looks like is going to be more is just an option to get quickly from the airport to downtown for people with the resources to do that. So I don't have much problem with this one, but it's just not going to really have much effect on traffic. I don't see that. But hey, if Elon Musk wants to put up the money and build it himself, then so be it. All right, this next story takes place in Detroit. In Detroit, out here in the Midwest. Downtown Detroit has been on the come up as of late. A lot of construction going on in downtown Detroit. They got the new bridge coming to Canada pretty soon. I heard Apple just moved their store into downtown Detroit. So downtown Detroit is moving on up. Now in downtown Detroit, they also have this little stub freeway. Let me show you on the map. So in Detroit, we got this stub freeway called Interstate 375. And if you look at Detroit, we get in close right here. 375 is this guy right here on the northeastern side of downtown. So it's a little stub. There's 75. There is 94, I believe. And you got like a loop around downtown right here. So what was going on is that there were plans to, so it's a below grade expressway. See if we can shift the view for you guys. So currently 375 is a below grade expressway, as you can see here. So the plan was to build it as a surface boulevard, bring it up to grade, and make it a wide surface boulevard. And they said that's going to revitalize the neighboring community up here. So that is the plan. But of course, that's going to cost some money. So let's see why they delayed this plan.
Plans to transform I-375 were suddenly put on hold. We wanted to dig deeper to learn why. CBS News Detroit's Elaine Rojas Castillo is getting answers from those behind the project to figure out what happens next.
Don't understand why it would be put on pause at this point. They have the funding to do it.
On Monday, the Michigan Department of Transportation announced the pause of a nearly $500 million project that would transform a busy stretch of the I-375 freeway in the heart of Detroit.
The alternative was to bring the freeway up to grade and make it a regular boulevard.
To learn more, we talked to Todd Scott, the executive director of Detroit Greenways, a nonprofit organization that advocates for more walking and biking spaces across the metro area. Scott says the project would reduce overall infrastructure costs by removing some of the area's worn-down bridges and revitalize the city's Black Bottom and Paradise Valley neighborhoods.
It's not a perfect project, but it's been moving toward a much better project by taking in the community interests.
We dug deeper by calling, emailing, and texting both MDOT and the city's Department of Public Works to question why the development was paused. Detroit DPW got back to us, saying the progress of the project is still in the state's hands and could not comment further. MDOT spokesperson Jocelyn Garza sent CBS News Detroit a statement citing rising labor and material costs, as well as growing public concern over the overall design of the roadway as key reasons behind the delay. In its decision, MDOT's state transportation director said, quote, "We have one opportunity to get this project right. I-375 has been open for more than 60 years, and we expect the new I-375, whatever design it may be, to be in place much longer. Getting this right for the community and our stakeholders will remain our priority." An organization against the project, Rethink I-375 Community Coalition, calls the pause a, quote, healthy acknowledgement by MDOT of their concerns over the redevelopment. In a statement, the group said, quote, "It is more than a boulevard project. While roads are part of the puzzle, this project needs to follow from a vision that respects the complexity of the land use, transportation, urban design, local business, and restorative justice issues at play in the I-375 corridor." While the project's progress is still up in the air, Scott hopes a resolution can be found soon.
It's frustrating. It affects safety because people are using streets that aren't as safe now to get between these two locations. And so, yeah, we just want to see this moving forward.
All right, sounds kind of like some cold feet here from Michigan Department of Transportation. I thought they already finalized the design and all that was to go ahead and start building it, but they're still talking about community concerns over the design. So it looks like if this isn't finalized, then we have no anticipated date for the redesigned I-375 in Detroit. Now, one thing I will say about the redesign that they were talking about to bring it up to grade and make it a surface boulevard, that 60-year thing is key because a lot of the bridges that were built with the federal dollars for the interstate highway system are in need of replacement around the country now. And you get rid of these bridges, you bring it up to grade, you make it a surface boulevard. Well, no more bridges, means lower cost maintenance. So sounds like the project is still ongoing, but there might be some changes, and we don't know exactly when this is going to happen. But enjoy 375 while you can, because it looks like its days are numbered in Detroit. Okay. Now, while Michigan is removing a freeway, we have another state that is growing very rapidly, so they're building more freeways. This is in Arizona. Now, those of you in Arizona, we just got done with the Interstate 10 Broadway curb project that brought a lot of relief to the eastern side of the metro area, but this is out west over near Buckeye. So let me show you what's happening, my Arizona folks. You are getting a new freeway. You don't see that very often these days as states run out of money. So let's take a look.
You know, anytime we talk traffic, my goodness, anything that's going to make it a little bit easier for us, we're all for. The West Valley has seen a lot of growth out there, right? And so you notice it when you're driving, especially during rush hour, because the delays are so bad for West Valley drivers on I-10 specifically. But relief could be coming. There's a new freeway in the works that is hoping to improve congestion. 12 News journalist Jen Wall has all of the details. She's live for us this morning in the studio to tell us where we could see this freeway construction and how soon it could open as well. Good morning.
You got it. Good morning to you, Allison. So we're talking about the new SR30. It is set to be built a few miles south of I-10 from Buckeye to the I-17. I spoke with West Valley drivers who told me that traffic is awful on the I-10 and the new freeway cannot be completed fast enough.
Do you ever drive the 10?
Of course, we all do, don't we?
Yeah. Ask just about anyone in the West Valley.
Oh yeah, all the time, and it's busy all day long, it seems like.
About their infamous I-10 commute.
The 10 is a nightmare, 24/7.
How is traffic on the 10 in the east?
It's always something in the 10.
It's a consistent.
Well, this is why I say traffic is relative. Traffic is relative. Now, Phoenix, I'm not going to say they don't have any traffic. I mean, every major city does, but the traffic in Phoenix is a joke compared to other major metro areas, especially ones in the top 10 largest in America. Phoenix is probably one of the best as far as traffic flow goes, but everybody thinks their city has the worst traffic.
And one transportation experts are mapping out a solution to.
What do you think about that?
I think it's awesome.
The SR30 is one of the newest freeways on the list to break ground. When finished, the alternate route to I-10 will run just south of the 10 from the 85 in Buckeye to the I-17 Durango curve in Phoenix.
Growth is happening faster than anyone can control it. Certainly huge relief to all of the traffic that would have otherwise taken I-10.
Maricopa Association of Governments manager Arminta Syed says they're forecasting about 270,000 cars will take I-10 from Buckeye to downtown Phoenix and back every day by 2050.
It's really going to also help Buckeye and Goodyear and Avondale as well, and Tolleson.
The first phase of the SR30 to be constructed will be right here on the eastern end, where it'll connect with the 202 South Mountain near Broadway.
Syed says SR30 plans have been in the works for more than 20 years. It'll be built in phases.
Is that center segment that goes from Loop 202 on the east end over to Loop 303 on the west end, because that's the one that's going to provide the most relief from I-10.
The center segment is most complex and expensive because of resources needed to build. The eastern and western segments will be built later. It's a timeline drivers like Ezekiel Wright.
It's going to help alleviate traffic. It's going to make it a lot easier for people commuting into central Phoenix from out west.
Can't wait for construction crews to hit the gas pedal on.
All right, let's go look at Phoenix. Get down here to Arizona. Show you what we're dealing with out here in Phoenix. Let's get to the road map. All right, so here is the Phoenix metro area. Look at the current traffic. So you see it is busy over here. It is about 2 p.m. in Phoenix. I think they're on the same time we're on. So this new freeway is going to run south of I-10. So it's basically a parallel freeway. This is the 10 right here. So as of right now, the 10 is the only freeway that goes in and out of Phoenix. So this is going to be good. This is going to be good for traffic flow in the region. You're basically going to have a parallel freeway running from downtown out to Buckeye to the south down here. In both loops, as you mentioned, this loop 202 is going to connect here. And this centerpiece that she was talking about is going to be between here and here. So 303 is going to be extended down to the new Highway 30, and it's going to run right down here. So here we go. So here's the map. So here's straight from the DOT. You see that center segment they're talking about, and that's the western segment. So they're going to focus on this part first. And you see this 303 extension. So Arizona, Phoenix, they are staying ahead of the curve. You know, some states, some places, as hundreds and thousands of people move to their state, they just sit back and don't do anything. Well, Arizona said, not us. We are building. We are anticipating this growth, and we are getting ahead of it. All right. So Phoenix is one of the places you can go if you want to experience a large city without that big city traffic. All right. Good job, Arizona.
Mag says the first phase of construction could start as early as July 1st, so next summer. The entire center segment from the 303 to the 202 South Mountain near 67th Ave is expected to be done in 2035. And, you know, Allison, we also want to talk about those east and westbound sides.
Yeah, I mean, because when could those be finished?
Yeah, so Mag tells me that they don't really have a timeline yet on that because it's just too far out in development, unfortunately. But as soon as we do have that information, we'll of course bring that to you.
Well, here's the other thing I noticed with that map too, Jen, is that, you know, how it connects right to SR 85, that takes you down to Yuma. So that's going to help a lot too. I have to travel down there. My in-laws live there, I have family there. And so just getting around.
Let me see what she's talking about. Okay. Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. Yeah, that end over there. So that's another thing too. Anyone that's going south towards Yuma won't have to use I-10 anymore whenever this is done. But it's going to be a while, 10 years just for the central segment. So, you know, we got some things going on out here in Arizona, and we got Interstate 11, which we also talked about. So Arizona is building. They are working. They are working. Shout out to Arizona DOT getting it done. All right, now for this last story, we're going on down to Louisiana. Now, guys, I travel all over the country, been on major highways in various metro areas. And one of the things that I see that's probably the most disruptive to traffic flow is a left lane hog. Now, what is left lane hogging? Left lane hogging is when the left lane is meant for passing in most places. So traffic that's going slow, what people associate or call the slow lane, stays on the right side of the roadway, while traffic that is passing uses the left lane. Some people like to call it the fast lane. But oftentimes there are people, you get that person who is sitting in the left lane, driving at the speed limit, sometimes even below the speed limit, slowing down everybody else. So then you get this situation where people have to get in the right lane to pass this guy who's doing it wrong. And that can cause everybody slows down because now there are other people in the right lane who are doing it right, and you got to try to get around them too. So slow drivers, left lane hogs, destroy traffic flow in America. If everyone understood and obeyed the left lane laws, traffic flow would be so much better on American highways. Let's take a look at what Louisiana is doing to get at you left lane hogs out there.
A state senator wants to make changes to a state law that deals with how we drive in left-hand lanes. As Mike McDaniel explains, the hope is to make rules more enforceable.
With a 150-mile-long district that stretches from central to north Louisiana, State Senator Jay Luno drives a lot and notices something.
I saw firsthand a lot of people driving in the left lane and blocking traffic.
Luno says that type of rolling roadblock goes beyond just frustration.
It's dangerous because when you get up there, people get aggravated, they get mad. They try to switch lanes.
Luno says that can lead to crashes, which adds to expensive auto insurance rates for Louisiana drivers. To try and make roadways safer, Luno filed a bill for the upcoming legislative session that would tweak current law, which states the left-hand lane is for passing only.
People need to be courteous. They need to be think about what they're doing on the roads.
By removing a 10-mile-per-hour exception from current law, the bill would require anyone driving slower than the posted speed limit to stay out of the left lane. The proposed changes would also increase the fine from $100 to $150 on the first offense, $250 on the second offense, and $350 on the third offense. Multiple offenses could land you in jail for up to 30 days.
They're not trying to get over or pass a slower-moving vehicle. They're just riding in the lane.
Last fall, WWL Louisiana buckled up with NOLA Driving Institute owner Tanya Bergeron to examine the left-hand lane use law in Louisiana. In her 14 years teaching drivers, Bergeron says many people are unaware the law even exists.
You will see people driving in the left lane all day, every day. Wherever you go, you'll see it.
And she's correct. And one of the things I will say is I partially blame the lax driving standards here in America. How many driver's license tests actually require users to understand the dynamic between the right lane and the left lane on highways? Most of them don't. And then when you get people who aren't familiar with our laws, our driving laws that come here, it's even worse. So this is an epidemic around America. And I do think a lot of people aren't doing it on purpose. I think a lot of people just don't even know that that's how you're supposed to drive. They just think, oh, it's 2 lanes or it's 3 lanes and I just drive however I want. That's not how it works, guys.
Louisiana requested almost 5 years' worth of traffic citations related to improper left-hand lane usage from law enforcement agencies across southeast Louisiana. Only a few agencies had a handful of citations.
We're going to try to change the attitudes about that and let people know that we need to do something about this.
Luno says tweaking the law will hopefully make it easier for officers to enforce it and for drivers to obey it.
I'm just hopeful that we can improve our driving habits here in the state of Louisiana and that people can be more respectful of other motorists on the road.
A road we must all share while shifting with the law. Mike McDaniel.
And I think that's probably a good way to enforce it. I always wondered about how do you even enforce left lane hogging, because a lot of states have made it illegal to be a left lane hog, to use the left lane for something other than passing. But when's the last time someone got pulled over by it? Or how do you determine when someone is left lane hogging? Because sometimes it's not that obvious, sometimes it's quick. So just saying that you can't go at or below the speed limit in the left lane, that could be pretty effective. But overall, we just need better education of American drivers. A lot of people just don't know that if you're not passing someone, you're supposed to stay in the right lane. So we'll see how this works in Louisiana. It's a good step. Hopefully that passes, and maybe some other states will follow. And all right, guys, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments about the stories that we share here today, and also continue to send me more stories of things that you want to talk about. I really like to know what you guys think about these tunneling projects, both in Toronto and in Nashville. And if you think this thing by Doug Ford even has a shred of a chance of getting built up there in Canada. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.